Hey, y'all, welcome to another episode of the Wright Pour. We have someone new in studio today. We have my friend Charlie, who runs the Grand Strand Bourbon Society, and that's how I met him. And he's the one who introduced me here to Taconic Distillery. Um, I fell in love with their stuff after he introduced it to me. It's a little harder to get here in South Carolina, but we have another special guest we're going to introduce here, and that is Paul, the owner and head distiller of Taconic Distillery. Paul, thanks for coming on today.
Thanks for having me, guys.
So, Charlie, I'm going to lead it off. I'm going to hand it off to you. You're the one who knows more about Taconic than I do. I only have 2 of the bottles. Everything else you see here today will be from Charlie's selection of Taconic as well. And, well, tell us more about it, how you found them. And then...
When you first said you were doing a podcast, what did I say? I said, we got to do an episode on Taconic.
Yes,
and
you did.
The reason why I want to is Paul, I'm a bourbon steward. I'm a bourbon collector. I've been involved with whiskey for a long time. Started very early. My dad taught me how to make my first cocktail, a Manhattan. 2 rye and 1 vermouth.
Yeah, I like that.
My dad was born and raised in Manhattan. He worked at the Waldorf Astoria for almost 57 years. So everything was Manhattan. So that's where I learned. So rye whiskey was something that that was my whiskey to go. And then I started getting into bourbon, of course I had that Blanton's. So I started collecting bourbon from all over the country. And I moved to South Carolina about 24 years ago. This coming year. So when I went back up for, unfortunately, a funeral in 2021. I was looking through some shops and I saw a bottle that said Taconic on it. Now, anybody that lives in the Hudson or Harlem Valley knows what the Taconic is, the Taconic region of the state. And also, if you commute to the city, you have to go down, or you're probably going down the Taconic State Parkway. So when I saw that, it stuck out to me. It was a barrel strength bottle, Paul, and I got it. I brought it home with the other bottles that I got in Dutchess. It was in Beekman where I got it.
Okay.
And I came down and tasted it. I said, oh my God, this is good. Now, I knew New York, if they ever made bourbon, it was going to be good because New York has incredible corn.
Yes, they do.
Like it's good corn. I'm not a good corn on the cob guy, but if you get a New York sweet corn, oh my God, it's delicious. And the best water.
Yes. Oh, 100%.
That you could, I mean, come on now.
That's why New York, New England had some of the most distilleries back in the day, well before Prohibition.
Right. And then the laws have changed. And now here we go. And I've discovered New York bourbons. And I've had a bunch of them. And by far, Taconic is my favorite. And I'm probably by the end of this episode, hopefully everybody will, I'm going to try to justify why Taconic is my favorite distillery.
And I don't think there's going to be needing to justify it because everything I've had so far has been top tier. Like, it is absolutely delicious.
So Paul, thank you for joining. Paul Coughlin, the owner of Taconic. Why don't you tell us about Taconic, how it came to be, and why we're here today?
Okay. I just want to jump in. And when you talk about, why New York, we have good grains, we've got good water. The other thing that came up a couple of years ago is the temperature, the average temperature in the, call it Lower Hudson Valley versus Louisville, Frankfort, Kentucky. We are 1 degree on average colder. So it's very, very similar. I would argue we probably have more violent swings in temperature, which definitely behooves the aging process. So that's just another thing about New York. But in terms of, how I got into this 12 years ago, I've been in the investment world my whole life, where we raised our kids in Greenwich, Connecticut. The distillery is probably an hour and a half away from there. In 2010, we bought a 120-acre old beef farm and renamed it Rolling Hills Farm. We put up a log cabin pretty short afterwards. Nothing fancy, kind of a weekend cabin. And as Charlie knows, I'm a big firearms nut and love to shoot rifle, pistol, shotgun. And so we had all this land. We put up all sorts of ranges. And, pretty soon afterwards, my wife said, listen, we have all this land. We need to do something with it. We can't just leave the other 119 acres vacant. We got to do something. So we looked into animals, which are a lot of work. One thing led to another. As Charlie mentioned, the laws were relaxed, or at least the fees were lower on the farm distillery. So we said, okay, we got these rolling hills. We got good soil. Let's grow some corn. And behind the log cabin, we had a 20 by 24 red barn, uninsulated, whatever. And one thing led to another. And that's where we literally started out. with a backpack on the weekends, kind of I call it a protractor, every bar and liquor store, 1 mile, 2 mile, 3 mile, knocking on doors. We definitely had the wind at our back in terms of the brown spirits picking up, cocktails coming back. I mean, we definitely, I wish we'd done it a year or two earlier, but we definitely rode that wave to be, up until I would say a year and a half ago. So we've had, I love creating a brand. I run the business with my wife and 3 daughters. The girls are now 30, 28, and 25. 2 of them in the city. One is working over in Spain. The kids help out whenever needed. They're part of running the business. They did a lot more when they were younger, but any events in the city, we have them work. Family run, family operated, got a lot of crazy stories. But it's been a lot of fun. I would say that for 10 and a half years, it was a lot of fun, kind of wind at our back. The last year and a half, and I don't know if you see it, Charlie, as much in your business, we've run into kind of the perfect storm. Any one of them would be okay, but the perfect storm in the spirits, maybe all of liquor, of at least marijuana being legal in
Yeah.
New England. I don't know if it's true, if it's there down there.
We got the Title
Um,
IX ready to drink mixes are really taking
Yeah.
over.
Just like the
yeah, so
THC
so I
stuff.
would say it goes legalization of cannabis. The Ozempic really, really hurts us. General sobriety, I would say, being a 61-year-old Catholic, the only thing we had to worry about was Lent previously was 40 days. Now we got dry this, dry that, and then the last kick in the nuts is the canned cocktails. So what we've done to mitigate the canned cocktails is we make the base spirits for a couple guys. And then earlier this year, I don't know if either of you guys have this, we came out with this product. We came out with a pre-made maple old fashioned, which is what we serve at the distillery,
Right.
Charlie. It is 750 and 375, and that has been a lifesaver.
Wow.
Yeah, and when you have a good base like your bourbons already to do that, that makes a nice, easy freezer door cocktail, as we like to call them around here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I pitch it as when we go through our sales pitch, I go through everything and I said, and if you're a lazy drinker, this is what you need. All you need is an ice cube, and if you're really motivated, a Luxardo cherry and an orange peel.
Have you ever tried smoking that one? Because I know a lot of people around here like smoked cocktails. Is that a
So
good one to smoke?
So I don't know if you look at some of the Instagram or the old videos, what we do is our smoked old fashioned is we'll take a barrel apart and I'll have a full barrel stave elevated and I'll get a blowtorch and literally, hit those caramelized sugars, let it ignite, put it out with the glass. And then because you get the smoke molecules adhering to the glass. And first of all, it looks very cool. And it makes a great cocktail. So that's what, when we do smoke cocktails, that's what we do.
Oh, that's a good idea. Doing it right over the stave. I never would
Yeah,
have
it's
thought
very
about
cool.
that.
And we
Yeah.
have, as you walk out of the distillery, I don't know if Charlie remembers it, we have dozens of staves that people can take. We take barrels apart all the time for doing that or for general cooking.
Oh,
Yeah, I mean, I would tell you the experience I had at the distillery. I wanted to talk about that as well. Is probably the most fun I've ever had at a distillery, and I didn't get to spend a lot of time there because I only had a few hours there.
right.
But it was for their 10th anniversary, and I want to say something about that. It's smaller than you think. Like it was when I was surprised that how small the operation. It is a true family business. Like it is a true family small business. You and your wife was behind the bar at the tasting room, and everybody was, all the guys that help you out were giving me a tour while you were doing other things. And I would tell you the tasting room is if you probably know, if you've ever been to like a northern bar, like corner bar.
Yeah. Oh, plenty
It
of them.
had that kind of atmosphere. It wasn't like a distillery. You're all spread out and doing tastings. Like it felt like a hometown bar
Mm-hmm.
that you want to hang out with every night. Like
Which is
that's where
great.
you want to go.
Which is great because I would hang out there for hours on end at that point.
It really was. And it's a beautiful area. People don't know what northern Dutchess County is like. I mean, it's rolling green hills, and if you're sitting there by the fire pits that he's got out there and you're looking across these just rolling green hills,
Mhm.
like it is an unmatched view as far as a distillery that I've ever been to. It's gorgeous up there.
And speaking of the vibe, do you still have that old barn that y'all started in, or have you since, upgraded from there?
Oh, so the old barn still exists, and so Charlie saw the new distillery. So I would say that pretty much within a year and a half, when the business took off, I realized that we had to make a decision, either, get out of this thing or make a significant capital investment. And it's on the same piece of property. So the kind of if it's a rectangle, the log cabin is top right, the distillery is bottom left. So there's definitely enough separation. And we built a 5,000 square foot facility in 2016, or opened it in September of 2016. Since then, we've added 2 rick houses, which are just basically pole barns with black siding to generate, not insulated, to put all the barrels in.
Okay.
But yeah, so we realized we had to move right away because the thing was growing too fast.
That's definitely
And
not a
that's
bad
what
problem
we,
to
and
have.
that's what we so at that point we went down to Vendome, and we have a continuous column with a doubler. We have 3 fermenters, obviously a cooker and a beer well, and hired a guy out of Buffalo Trace who came up and spent a couple years teaching everyone, how this is, let's play around with recipes. This is how you do this. This is how you do that. And, we've been getting after it ever since.
So true world class training from one of the best, or at least most known distilleries out there,
Yeah.
coming out of Kentucky. That's pretty cool to have, to be able to hire someone from there to come out and help teach you all what to do, and here's how to do little things here and there that change what you're trying to achieve out of your whiskey.
Who do you have as a master distiller now? Is that your role, or who's took over that role there?
So Pierce does it, and Pierce trained under Brandon, who was the guy from Buffalo Trace.
Mhm.
Pierce has been running it on his own. I guess I would say, I don't know if it's 3 or 4 years he's been doing it. So what I say, like, I can run the still like I can drive a tractor trailer. If nothing goes wrong, I can run it. It's like I can't back up a tractor trailer, but I could certainly go forward. Yeah. So, but it looks very intimidating, but in the end, it's basically steam coming in, steam coming out, hot water coming in, hot water coming out. But it looks very, very intimidating. Everything is driven by temperature. I mean, I would say, our still, obviously we have, I'm not gonna say an old still, but I would think now you can get a Vendome still that you could run on an iPhone. I mean, the technology is crazy with these things.
Golly, back in the day, that was obviously not a thing, and probably a little bit more challenging. But I know once you get a hang of it, I'm sure trying to figure out the temperature to a single degree,
Yeah.
gets a little bit easier over time.
Yeah, I mean, it's I'd say the first 15 minutes and the last half hour are difficult. It's like flying a plane.
Right.
Yep.
Once it's running, you're monitoring it, but let it do its thing.
I mean, that makes sense. Probably the best analogy I've heard of it.
Yeah, I mean, it's simple. Yeah, sometimes keep it simple.
Yeah,
The old KISS method works
exactly.
the best.
Keep
you
it
know what I
simple,
mean?
stupid.
Did you want to do a fresh crack? We popped
Yes.
we popped it open. Did you want to do a fresh crack? He's never had the 90 proof Duchess Private Reserve, so I got a fresh one here. I was going to pop it, and we'll pour a glass. We'll talk about. I guess we'll start talking about this private.
I would think
Reserve.
that's too low proof for Chris.
It is my first pour of the night, though. In all fairness,
That's what it was. He's like, "Do you have any 90 proof?" Because
I did just rush home
proof stuff
from my 9 to 5 job. So actually, I want to start with my question. One of my questions I have is, like, what was your first batch? Like, what were you trying to achieve on it? Were you going for like a lower proof batch right off the bat? Like, how did that kind of come about?
Well, our the first batch on the Vendome still, what we wanted to do was successfully get through the day.
Good enough for me.
I think what happened when the first day was a debacle because I think we had a fixed speed motor and we needed a variable speed motor. So things got clogged. We take it apart. It looked like a fire hose going all over the place. But eventually, it took a while, but we got it dialed in.
So was the first batch a scrap batch at that point once you realized what was happening, and then the second one was really the
first batch
go-getter?
probably got redistilled.
Okay.
But what I would say is once we kind of, went through a specific recipe, one of the things that we have tried to do, I would say being a smaller distillery, I'm not a big fan of the word craft. And I always tell people the brilliance of McDonald's and Budweiser is anywhere you go in the world, everything tastes the same. So how do you build consistency in your product? And since day one, we've used Independent Stave, Cooper Select, Char 3, 53 gallons. We never, ever, ever put anything in the smaller barrels. And, same,
Yes.
we get about 25 tons off the property, which sounds like a lot of grain, but every cook we do is 4,000 pounds. So we
Mm,
burn through that pretty quickly. But,
very.
same grain suppliers, everything's within a 10-mile radius, same enzymes, same yeast, just try to keep everything the same.
And that's, I think, one thing that I like about my exploration with Taconic so far is that the things I've had have been fairly similar in terms of that consistency. So that is good. I mean, I like craft stuff. Like that is naturally where I came from, craft beer, moved into craft whiskey. So I like the grain forward stuff, more than other people, but also I do like how yours is, I know you hate the word craft, but it is like small batch but consistent, you know.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
what I like about it
It's
personally.
it's craft refined
Yes.
is what I like to say,
Yeah. Yeah.
because it really is. And as far as like craft distillery goes, I think Taconic is. I don't want to name other distilleries because we might. There's a lot of well-known smaller, they say quote unquote craft distilleries in the market that are making a lot of noise, and people. And my personal opinion is Taconic is separate
Mhm.
from those because again, it tastes more refined. And I guess if there was like a company that I would say that maybe refined the craft is maybe Still Austin.
Yes.
And I would
I could
probably
see
say
where you're going with
Taconic
that.
is there. And I prefer Taconic stuff over Still Austin because some of their stuff I'm not fond of,
Mhm.
but I haven't found a bottle yet from the 90 proof to the 130 plus proof from Taconic that I didn't like.
Right.
And of all the podcasts I've seen a lot of people, because I know you've given some bottles and some people have done reviews on it. I've never seen anybody from even in person or on a review ever say anything bad about the product.
Yeah, I agree with
Ever.
that. Yeah.
I can't find it. I've looked. I've seen hours and hours and hours and hours.
And I'm sure
I
you
can't
searched
find it.
far and wide.
I'm sure
Absolutely.
there's someone out there that doesn't like me, Charlie.
Well, I'm sure.
Well,
you
same.
know, well,
Can't confirm same.
we do have. I would tell you that I started bringing Taconic. We have an annual bottle share that we do every year for charity. At the distillery that I sent you when I brought you. Just so you know, in transparent, Paul has sent me some bottles, but I also gave him a bottle too. So when I went up there, I gave you Horry County, where we live in Horry County, South Carolina, our first distilled, aged, and bottled product, the Doc Scofflaw from 1233.
Yep.
So I brought that up there to him. So
And hey, you got to try other competitors' stuff. And I wouldn't really call him a competitor, but you got to try other people's stuff to see what's out on the market and see what you can do better. Because it's always growing. As far as I'm concerned, I feel like you're the same way. You're always trying to better yourself. Am I right?
Yeah, I mean, listen, it's a competitive market, and that's where the kind of when I talked about craft before. I think craft and local sometimes translate into, I don't want to say price gouge, but when we started the business, I realized if I wanted to get outside a 5-mile radius outside New York State, you have to be competitive with the big guys and your, call it craft competition.
Mm-hmm. And I know, as we talked about off camera before, distributors, at least in our area, God, they're so bad sometimes. So stinking bad. So I can only imagine from your end how challenging it could be.
Yeah, that could be a whole day of podcast. But I mean, that of all the stuff that I underestimated was the headwinds or just the lack of desire from distributors. Because no matter what, we're never going to be paying anyone's bills, right? Even if I got to 100,000 cases in New York, I still don't even know if that's relevant. So I mean, the way the 3-tier system works, we have to use distributors. Distributors don't have to pick us up,
Mm-hmm.
and we can't go to market on our own. So it's and I would say that's only gotten worse with what's going on. So that is my frustration having gotten into this business. Everything else a lot of fun, but that is what that is my daily battle.
Oh, and I can imagine.
And my frustration is, of course, finding Taconic here.
Right.
And we'll talk about, you can get Taconic in South Carolina, but you got to find it. But again, I talked to we'll say liquor library, a great store around here. And by the way, Paul, the bourbon scene here on the Grand Strand is growing tremendously. I don't know about other parts of the country, but our our distribution as far as selection go is growing. We have numerous bourbon bars opening up here. As you know, everybody from the Harlem and Hudson Valley is moving here.
Yeah,
Here in the Grand Strand. So
We're full.
you'll
We're
run into
full.
somebody you knew that grew up or was born or raised in Dutchess or right over in Connecticut, anywhere.
Yep.
So, but we have new liquor stores opening up. We have 2 or 3 new bourbon bars. We got
Plenty of
bourbon
them.
bars. We got people open up speakeasies. It's really growing here. I got to say,
that's good
the
to
bourbon
hear.
scene here is pretty strong, and I could probably name about probably a dozen bar and restaurants that have 100+ bottles of bourbon sitting by, and then good bourbons too.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So we got to get Taconic on those bars,
Right? Because in case y'all can't see in front of us here, we have some really good bottles that we do plan to talk about here shortly.
Right. Speaking of which, we just poured this 90 proof.
Yep. And the 90 proof, so like Paul, you said earlier, this is probably a little low for me. It is, but also a warm-up pour, a simple like with dinner pour. It's just so dang good. It's still got a ton of flavor. I love this one.
Yeah, but the flavor, again, I get the, I hate to say quintessential, the vanilla, the brown sugar, the baking spices. And Taconic is more of a sweet bourbon. Would you agree, Paul?
Yeah, so the mash, it's interesting. The mash bill, it would be deemed a high rye bourbon. It's 70% corn, 25% rye, and 5% malted barley.
Is that
So
the
with
only
not
mash
a
bill?
ton of malted barley, a lot of corn, but the rye content, it's not super spicy, which is why I think it has a lot of appeal, because it appeals to guys that like rye and appeals to bourbon drinkers.
Yeah, I can agree with that. With the way there's like a faint spice for me, even on the 9 proof, faint spice to it, which that rye comes in. Now, is that your only mash bill, or do you have other ones as well?
So we've got a 4-grain, then we've got rye, and then we've got a wheated bourbon where it's the same numbers. We swap out the rye for winter wheat, but instead of a malted barley, we do a chocolate malt. Yeah, that right there. And on that one, people tend to pick up the chocolate malt.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, there's chocolate malt in this, and it's a little nutty too. There's like a little nuttiness on there.
Yeah.
I really like this. This is I broke the cork on it, so I don't have the original cork on it.
Just use your mouth.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Give it a good rip with the mouth. Yeah, no, broken corks happen. It is what it is. Part of the game.
Yeah, but so the 90 proof again, tons of flavor for a 90 proof.
Yeah,
and as far as when you start getting in the bourbon, and you start, my favorite is probably, I'm drinking anything 120 and above is my favorite, and I tend not to buy 90 proof bourbon. But this is what I tell people from a distillery standpoint of their products or 90 proof products and above. The 90 proof Dutchess Reserve has tons of flavor, tons of flavor. And for a true 90 that you don't need to use it as a mixer, because some people use their 90 proof as a mixer or something like that. This has got tons of flavor, and that spice is just enough where it makes a perfect pour. And you can crush a bottle. You're crushing
it. Way too easily, in my opinion. That's how good the product is.
One of the interesting things about proof is if I look at the Mason-Dixon liner, call it Virginia, north of that, the sales are primarily 90 proof. South of that, higher.
We got that moonshine in our blood.
So, yeah, and that's it's an interesting question. I saw you mentioned that before on another podcast about that. Do you think that because the people in New York and New Jersey, that kind of tri-state area, are used to like maybe Irish whiskeys and scotches and so forth, so they're not used to high proof stuff?
It might be a personal preference. The other thing that I saw down south is up, and I don't know where up here is, but New England, Mid-Atlantic states, I would say from Memorial Day to Labor Day, there is a switch to call it vodka, gin, and rum, whereas down south, I got the impression it was all whiskey all year. You don't have that, kind of 3 or 4 month summer switch.
I can kind of agree with that because, growing up in Connecticut and then moving down here after I turned 21, I did notice that, like, I was always whiskey up north. That's kind of like what I gravitated to. But I do have a lot of friends that kind of did follow that rule. Like summertime came, they went to the clear liquids, they went to the mixed drinks, they went to Smirnoffs, things like that. You know what I mean?
Something they consider refreshing.
Exactly. What they would consider refreshing.
So thanks to Paul, in the summertime,
you
have your Rolling Hills rum.
Rolling Hills rum. So it's better known as red rum. What proof is that?
This is the 146, I
Yeah.
believe, or 147,
Yeah, so Chris will like that.
146.
Golly, I like a good hazmat.
You have an empty glass.
I do
I'm
have an empty
telling
glass.
you to take a pour of that, and it makes the world's greatest rum and coke.
Yeah, so what we
I'm
do the
telling
other
you right
thing
now.
the other
Go
thing
ahead.
we do you can do with that is leave the 146 in the freezer, pull it out, and pour it over a big cube, so the temperature of the alcohol and the temperature of the ice cube is the same, so you can sip it without the proof going down.
Oh, that's a good point.
Oh yeah, like I said, but again, I will say this about everything from Taconic. Everything tastes lower or feels lower than its proof point.
Yeah, hold on. You said this was 146 proof?
It is 146 proof. Sorry about that,
Could
but
have fooled me. Golly, that does not nose like it.
it does not, and it does not. And tell us about the rum.
So the rum we get it comes up in totes from Florida Caribbean distillers. We immediately dump it in a freshly dumped bourbon barrel and let it sit for 6 years.
Oh wow, 6-year aged rum. Okay. God, that does not drink. Oh my God, that's like a 120 proof rum.
Right. That is a bourbon drinker's rum right there.
That is dangerously good and dangerously high proof, but it
Right.
does not sip like it at all.
So if you're a bourbon drinker and you were looking for a rum, that Rolling Hills rum at 146, and is that available on your website?
Yeah, we also do the rum at 80, but yeah, I've gotten to the point where I love the high proof stuff, and that's kind of all I'll drink.
Usually same. Obviously, every now and then it's 90 proof. It's kind of refreshing to start the evening with. But yeah, the high proof stuff like this
Yeah.
this is really incredible. I can see why Charlie was raving about this one for weeks after he
Yeah.
got it.
Yeah, I was posting a picture of my rum and cokes. Again, I don't drink a lot of it because I'm afraid I'm not going to get anything more. So, and I have 300 bottles, so I try to make it last.
Yeah, right.
So we talk about higher proof stuff. Your 90 proof Dutchess Reserve, and then we go up to the 115, which is the barrel strength for the bourbon and the rye.
Correct.
And we have that bottle
Yep.
there, and the bourbon. You did Chris does a review on this. I don't know if you've seen it.
Yep,
He does
I saw it.
a review of this, and he also makes the cocktail out of it with the maple syrup.
Yeah, and full transparency, y'all were very nice enough to send this to me with the maple syrup. I really do appreciate that. That was fun to do the review on both of them and have my wife throw butter in my face if anyone saw that Instagram video when I was reviewing the maple syrup on a pancake. But no, so can you actually tell us real quick about that maple syrup? Seems like you make that all in house, right?
So the maple, yeah. So and some people argue the maple syrup is our best product. So
It is
in
pretty
any
dang
of the
good.
joint ventures we do, the bourbon barrel aged maple syrup, the double barrel maple bourbon, and then the straight bourbon finish in the cab cask, we always try to keep everything New York, New York. So when
Right.
we dump the bourbon barrels, we send them over to Catskill Mountain Sugar House, which is over in Sullivan County. They fill it up with 53 gallons of organic New York State maple syrup. 6 months later, pasteurize it, bottle it, it comes back to us.
And I will
And
say another thing.
it is delicious.
Oh, it is. It is so good.
Uh,
Actually, hold on, I'm sorry, real
Go,
quick. I made a maple old fashioned with that maple syrup, and it's so damn good,
Yeah.
even in a cocktail.
They make it at the distillery. Like when you have tastings are open, that's probably your most famous cocktail that people order is the maple.
Yeah,
is
the maple.
old
Yeah.
fashioned.
So what was interesting was I would say pre-COVID, we did a lot of tastings where you come in, you get a Glencairn glass, you taste 3 or 4 things. That business literally died, and everything went to cocktails during COVID. So we do the maple old fashions, we do the Negronis, we do the rum old fashions, rum Negronis, and then the Manhattans. And yeah, people again, it's consistency. And as you said earlier, people love to hang out by the fire pits. But it's much more. I would say the average length of stay per person is also a lot longer.
Oh, that's definitely good for business then.
Yeah, you don't want to
yeah.
leave. I mean,
Yeah.
I had to literally. I was so upset. It was also the day before Mother's Day, and I did have to make it down to the Carolinas by Mother's Day. So
Yeah.
so I had to get a jump on my drive there, but yeah, I could have stayed there all day.
And coming from the craft beer world up in Connecticut, where you can throw a rock and hit a damn craft brewery, it's nice to find a place like a distillery like you have that has that vibe that you can sit and hang out, because when I was at a couple breweries, sometimes it's like you just walk in, you see the fermenters, whatever, and then it's like, all right, cool, let's move on. Like, yeah, they have good beer, but like it doesn't necessarily like make me want to stay there and hang out and continue staying there. So being able to create that atmosphere is, really impressive and also great for the community as it is, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I would say that we treat customers like family. And when we first got going, people are like, what do you want your bourbon? How do you want people to drink it? Our bourbon is meant to be sipped, drunk, cocktail, whatever, with your family and your friends by a fire pit.
I love that. That's like the way it should
That
be.
is our goal. Yeah, that's the goal. And we have the fire pits.
They do.
I think you achieved all of it.
You also didn't you had something for the dogs too, right? Don't you let people bring the dogs to
Well,
the,
we have
to
to
the
be
store?
dog friendly because of
Yeah.
Copper the American fox out on the label.
Right.
Yeah, so it's definitely dog friendly, it's kid friendly, as long as your dog behaves. I will tell you that when we have, I mean, Charlie's seen how rural it is when you have people that come up with these, I call them pocketbook dogs.
That's
Right.
what I call them too.
That someone will go up to them and say, you need to put that thing on a leash, because if that thing takes off in a cornfield, it could get hammered by a hawk,
Yeah.
coyote.
Oh, yeah.
So
yeah.
so we're I would say we're 30 pounds and up dog friendly.
I like that 30 pound and up. So my little dog, Charlie seems my little dog.
Well, we got little dogs. We ain't letting them out there.
Yeah, yours not so much. My little dog is that threshold.
Your dogs will be fine up there.
But the little one, the other thing is, because all these things are crossbred, a lot of the the fear is bred out of these things. And I always say that when you're driving around and you see lost dog on the telephone pole, the last thing that dog was staring at was a coyote.
Yeah, probably.
Absolutely. So we got we're talking about the rum. Let's go. We got some ryes. So you do a rye. Tell us about your rye.
So our rye is a 95.5 rye. We do the rye. It's more it's frothy. It's more difficult to distill. You don't get the same yields on the same weight. Don't ask me what the science is behind that. But people love our rye. We sell a fair amount of it. Obviously, we sell a lot more bourbon, and we sell a lot of Manhattans too. Did I get you one of the super high Fox and Hare ryes?
Yes, I have that. I want to talk about that last. I'm going to talk about the single barrels here.
Yeah, I was saying, because we have
so the ryes, and I would say that your ryes are so underrated. As far as ryes go, they're my favorite ryes, and I'm not just saying it. I love the 95.5 rye, the MGP rye.
Yeah.
It's a good recipe.
So this will be my first Taconic
rye. It is a good recipe. I think the Vendome stills.
Try that one.
Yep. So
the
that's the one we're
Vendome
pouring
stills
here.
do a great job on rye. We love rye, but the bottom line is, as a business, for every bottle of rye you sell 8 bottles of bourbon.
Oh, yeah.
It's kind of annoying because ryes as a whole are underrated, in my opinion.
Right. And the thing is Paul, your ryes are so good. The bottle that he's tasting right now is a pick that I found in Southport, North Carolina.
Oh, okay.
Now, while you're doing that, I'll tell you a couple of testimonies about that. So my brother is a Heaven Hill fan, Evan Williams guy. Came to my house. I tried throwing everything at him, even Pappy 20.
Oh.
Everything. He wasn't impressed with nothing. The last day he was here, I grabbed this bottle because I was getting a pour of it, and I gave it. Then he drank. They said, "This is the best thing I had all week. Where was this the whole time?" And this is a Southport rye pick. This came in at
123.
This
proof.
one's at 120. This one's at 125.
125.
Or 123. I'm sorry.
So
I
need
readers now.
So I did.
I need readers.
Yeah, he needs his readers. No, it noses a lot less than that. It's got, honestly, a little bit of a sweetness to it that I don't typically get on the ryes. Now, I'm a huge 95.5 rye fan. Like MGP, whatever it may be, if it's a 95.5 rye, I really lean in on those for my rye profile.
So if you ever take a sip of that, so Mike Elliott, we know, the friend of ours we know in our club, he made a batch of 1915. Right. He made a batch of 1915, which is,
damn, that's good.
Old Forester 1910 and Old Forester 1920. You blend them, and he ages in a small barrel in his RV. And it was a project he had, and he had invited me and my wife over, and he had another couple with us, and he was a whiskey drinker. So he poured us all this 1915, which was really good. And I gave him another bottle of this for a gift, because he helps me out with my page. And I said, thank you for helping me out. I gave him a bottle of that, and he pours it, and he poured it to his other friend who was in. He says, "Oh my God, that's better than that stuff." He got it, and you're just seeing his face. He picked that over the 1915. So it's just another legacy distillery that somebody tastes Taconic, and they prefer that over the other stuff. That you wouldn't think.
This is really good at this proof point.
It is a great rye. This is one of the best picks, and this is all I have left. There is no more left of that barrel, which I'm very disappointed at.
I'm not getting the rest of that bottle.
It's good though. It's delicious. So so you mentioned the Fox and Hare. So do we have a Fox and Hare up front here?
Yeah, that one right there. Chris has got.
Okay.
Yep,
so these are your two single barrels, correct? So you guys start a single barrel, and you have the Fox and Hare is the rye single barrel, and then the Horse and Jockey is the bourbon single barrel. Can you tell us about these barrels here?
So what we decided to do was to have basically a SKU or a product of just single barrels that a group of people would come and pick whenever we ran out, and to sell that into the market versus the traditional barrel pick, because not every store has the capital or the time to spend the money to buy a full 36 40 case barrel. And we do them at 125. So if it's 126, we knock it down to 125. And those people love it. They sell very, very well.
It's
the same mash bill.
Right. So I brought the Horse and Jockey to a little thing we did.
Yep, last year. And
Wait,
was it the chili party? That's the one you brought to, right?
No, that's the Fox and Hare.
Oh, okay.
And then we did the Four Roses tasting, because we had the Four Roses single barrels, the new recipes out there, because Lonnie had got the 4 recipes from the store there.
Yep.
Mickey Finn's, and we were tasting, and then I did all the tasting. They were good.
Yep.
I mean, I enjoy Four Roses single barrel. I think is a good value. But then I took a sip of back of this, because we had it here, and I'm like, there just was.
It's just not the same. It's
just
so much better.
Yeah. And I'm just trying to tell you, Paul, like, this single barrel as a product on the shelf, is probably better than 95% of the single barrels that most distillers are putting out on the shelf. They just are, and I just see people, and I see people's genuine reaction when they try these two bottles. Because when I go to shares, I bring these two bottles. This is what I bring. This is what I want people to try, is these single barrels here. The Horse and Jockey, again, is the bourbon one, and that's the one I brought. But again, this single barrel, and there's not a lot of single barrel ryes out there. But if this was a more of a mass produced product here, Paul, I'm telling you.
So, question for you, Paul, on this: do you, like, when you go out to events or do tastings at liquor stores or whatever it may be, like your company does, do you find it hard to get people to want to try to get your bottle, the ones that are like stuck on those legacy brands, or has it been getting a little bit easier lately?
Yeah, that's an interesting question. I did a tasting on Saturday, and I was telling someone there's nothing that makes me happier than being in a store and having someone come in, not, have no idea who I am, not seeing me, and have them go up to the bourbon section and take my stuff off of the shelf.
I'm sure
that to me, like, that makes all my headaches worthwhile. I mean, that's at stores, a lot of times you can see what guys are carrying. If guys are carrying wine, I leave them alone. If they're carrying Irish whiskey, maybe you get them to try the rye. If they're carrying Tito's, leave them alone. Obviously, if they're carrying any bourbon in there, you're certainly going to want to say, like, listen, come on over here, try this. You can try it before you buy. You don't like it, no harm, no foul. What I am surprised at, and what is very interesting, and I don't know if you guys have tried this, that if I don't tell people the proofs, people always like higher proof stuff.
Yes.
If you tell them the proof, I mean, they get apprehensive. That is literally 100% happens. Don't tell them the proof. They like
Yeah.
the high proof. Or
Right.
you give them the horse and jockey and say, tell me what you think this is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because like when I host a annual party here at the house, you know, people come in and they see this bourbon wall here. They're like, "What can I have?" I was like, "Anything you want. If it's open, have it. Don't care. Whatever." And a lot of people like start looking at the proofs, and I'm like, "Stop! Don't do that.
Yeah.
Don't look at that bottle and look at the proof. If you want to try it, because now you're just psyching yourself up for no reason." And then I started just like pouring people stuff, and that's exactly that. I'm like, they're like, "Oh wow, what proof is this?" And I was like, "Oh, 125, 131, whatever it may be," and they're like, "That is way better than I thought it was." And I was like, you're psyching yourself out on the proof.
Yeah.
Simple as that.
What you should do is find the cheapest bottle, put the highest price tag on it, and leave it up there, and
Yeah.
watch everyone gravitate to that.
Yeah, right.
I
This
would tell
bottle's
you-
like $900 and it's like 30.
I would say, well, the labels on the Fox and Hare and the Horse and Jockey are they're great. All the labels are great, but these just stick out. They really do. And if they were like, I bought these two. Well, one was a friend of mine brought down for me, but I bought these two in a store in LaGrange, New York.
Yep.
And they seem to have the largest selection because I was looking for Taconic stuff while I was there as well. And they had the largest selection of these, and they just look amazing on the shelf. They're just great. The artwork is great on it. And if you're a bourbon, even if you're, I know a lot of people are the Kentucky loyalists. They see this horse on it, and you're like, well, that's got to be Kentucky. That's bourbon. I gotta grab that. That's got to be good. And they don't realize that New York is full of horse farms as well.
Yeah, we got
nothing but horse
Belmont
farms.
and we got Saratoga.
Oh,
Right.
yeah, Saratoga. Beautiful
But
place.
but the great story behind the Horse and Jockey is I don't know how many this is probably pre-COVID or maybe during COVID. I was watching, I don't know if it was a Guy Ritchie movie with Jason Statham.
Okay.
You know who that guy is?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So he goes in to this British pub called Horse and Jockey. And I said, that would be a great name for a bourbon. So I go online. It's not trademarked.
Oh, wow.
And then, go make up the image, change it, blah, 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 trademark it. And then Fox and Hare is another British pub. The British pubs should all have bourbon lines because it's got great names.
Yeah, you're not kidding. I mean, that was going to be my question. What was the inspiration? But like, that is
Yeah,
the best
that's it.
inspiration
That's
possible.
That's
I was watching,
that's
I was
pretty cool
watching a
story.
movie.
I
And
love
Fox
that.
and Hare is another British pub. And then they've got like duck and dog. They got all these crazy things that you could make bourbon lines out of.
So do you plan to make a duck and dog bourbon someday?
No. No, but I need to watch some more Guy Ritchie movies and come up with some more ideas.
Right? I mean, hey, that's some of the best inspiration right there. Little
Yeah,
relaxation.
but-
Like, I'm a movie guy, so sign me up.
But that's how random. I mean, that's all. That just falls into more of the storytelling of the bourbon history.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like being able to grab inspiration from a simple movie like that and the story behind it, like some people are going to turn around and be like, that's not believable. Like if I told them, they'd be like, no, but coming from you, they're like, huh,
Yeah, totally
that's a
true.
great idea.
Totally true.
Yeah, I was pretty stoked when Charlie came up last year for the party and brought one. It was the Fox. No, it was
I'll talk about that bottle because that's
that one. Okay, that's a special one. All right.
That is a special.
I'm getting a little ahead of
bottle.
myself here.
So this is the maple bourbon, and so the maple syrup. And then tell me about the maple bourbon. Now this is again, I got store owners. I got 2 liquor stores said they could not get the maple bourbon, and people are asking for the maple bourbon.
Yes.
It's sold out in our area. I can't find it nowhere.
Is one of them Liquor Library?
Liquor Library is one.
'Cause I
Yes.
know they
There's
have
3
their stuff.
stores near us that I can count on for getting Taconic.
Yep.
They're all out of everything but the Founder's Rye in our
Yeah.
area.
Okay.
We'll figure that offline. So
Yeah.
what we do when I talked about the maple syrup, I said we fill the barrels, empty them out, fill them with the maple syrup, and then pasteurize and make the bourbon barrel aged maple syrup. We then take that glazed barrel and fill it up with bourbon, fill it up with an aged bourbon. Let it sit for 6 months in one of our shipping containers. We have 14 shipping containers in addition to the rick houses, and those shipping containers generate crazy heat transfer. That's how we come up with that product. So that's where you get the double barrel. And even I would guess, maybe there's a gallon, maybe less, maybe more. So maple might be a misnomer. You'll get a little hint on the nose and the finish,
Right.
but it's very, very tough to pick up. It is not super sweet
Right.
by, any measurement.
Right. And that's what people do like about it. True bourbon drinkers like this because it's not overpowering sweet with
Yeah.
maple. Like some of them taste like you put 2 ounces
Yeah,
of
yeah,
maple
yeah,
syrup in
exactly,
the bottle.
exactly.
And this is not that. This is bourbon that you can tell was finished in a maple barrel.
And we
Yeah, I
do
was gonna
that
say,
one. We do that at a 90 and then a 115 too. So what I'll do with the 115, put it in the before we came up with the
This is
pre-made
90.
old fashions, put it
Mhm.
in the freezer. That's how I made my old fashions.
Right. And I know, and we know a certain person who he loves. Once I gave him this, he does not make his old fashions with anything else. That's probably why it's sold out in most of the places,
probably.
because he's going out and buying them.
It's a good
So,
possibility.
which is good. Which again, we want people to buy it. We want people to buy it.
It's definitely not a
And,
bad problem to
we
have,
get
that's for sure.
so the most popular bottle of this is again, I want to mention the a lot of other mainstream bourbon people who are influential in the whiskey world. Randy Sullivan, who does Bourbon Real Talk.
Mhm.
Our group is based off of Bourbon Real Talk community. I'm not sure if you're familiar with it, Paul, but they did a group. There's something said, someone say whiskey group did a pick of the maple. And if you watch the Bourbon Real Talk podcast, right between him, where him and Wes standing is right, and there's a bottle of a pick they did of that maple bourbon, and that's where I noticed the first Taconic maple. I saw that. I said, "Hey, that looks like Taconic. That looks like the Taconic label." And then I ordered a maple bourbon. So yeah, and a lot of people in that group, and that's a big group, Paul. Some of them even talk about that pick to this day. Like, wow, that was such an amazing pick. And I've never tried any of the maple. I know the Bourbon Pursuit did a maple pick. They did a podcast where they did a bourbon, and they did the maple pick, and they all, again, they have their own bourbon. Now, it seems like everybody that does it, all the podcasts that tried Taconic, start their own distillery not too long after they try it. So maybe that's the inspiration. I don't
need
know.
to find some money.
But it's great. So let's talk about this, because we're going to have to talk about
Well,
it.
Hold on,
The
real quick though.
the problem is I don't know if we were the first. I don't know if we were ahead of Knob Creek or not, but that's why I put the release numbers on these things.
Mhm.
And say often copy, never replicated, but I couldn't patent or trademark because it's a simplistic thing. But everyone and their brother has copied us, to the point where some guys don't even have the courtesy to change. Like they'll cut and paste the verbiage off of our website.
Of course.
Unbelievable.
I do gotta
But,
say,
welcome to the bourbon business.
right. If there's a loophole, they're gonna find it. Let's be honest
Right.
here.
And you know
The
what? If
trademark
someone,
game, yeah.
I would do the same thing. If someone had a good idea, I mean, I've been always trying to figure out how I could mimic the Jefferson's Ocean on the Hudson River, because I think that whole thing I thought that was brilliant.
I mean, I'm not
Right?
gonna lie.
Yeah,
I think
with the Hudson, you could probably come up with something else. You probably put a
You probably
hazmat
could.
sticker on it. That's or an FPA 704
Because I had
sticker
an
or something
Oceans
on
and I did not really like it. I think it was like Voyage 94. I was like, I'm never getting that again. Like, it just wasn't for me. But then at our bottle share,
Yeah.
there's a raffle, and I got a Jefferson's Ocean cast strength, and it changed my mind a little bit. I'm
Yeah.
not gonna lie, it kind of did.
Yeah.
So,
But did you taste the sea salt in it as one of the notes?
not really, not really. I was like, maybe it just got shaken up a little bit more in the barrel. That's about it.
Yeah. No, but
Yeah.
when that came out, I thought that was brilliant marketing. Brilliant.
Oh yeah. By the way, I don't know, like, if any of y'all watch Paramount for Landman or anything like that. Jefferson's has been leaning in on we're doing stuff out in the wilds, like doing some crazy marketing right now.
I mean, everything. I'd say, like in the wrestling
Oh my
business,
God,
everything's a
it's-
gimmick. Somebody's
it
got to have
is.
a gimmick. They got to come up with their own gimmick to make something work.
Yeah.
To try to get
So-
over.
Before we talk on that, it's like,
Sure.
now that I've had the maple for the first time,
Oh yeah.
my favorite before this one, because this has changed my mind. I like how you said it's not sweet, and it's not. I'm getting that maple flavors without the sweetness to it. Like, I don't want the syrup in this instance. I want the maple flavor, and I think it nailed that. Previously, it was the Widow Jane Decadence, which I think was a little bit too pricey in my opinion, but that's a story for a different day. But I do like how I'm getting that maple flavors, like you were talking about, without it being super sweet. I'm actually getting a little bit more grain forward. Like, to me, it is a little bit more of a craft bourbon with the maple flavor to it, which really appeals to my personal palate, to be honest.
Right. That's again.
Damn good. Honestly, damn good.
And listen, I can tell it's genuine. Like I say, when I watch, Paul, I enjoy watching people taste Taconic. That's one of the things to see their reaction, and because I love a product, I want everybody else to experience that product. Well, I'm not saying it's because I don't get anything, I don't get but I want people to enjoy good bourbon.
Hmm.
And I'm
Is
telling
this
you,
the
the
90 or the higher
reaction.
proof?
This is the 90 proof. I left the 115 at home because again, I only had 2 boxes and a bag to bring stuff over with,
Yep.
and I've got several things over. So
For those of y'all that can't see, we have probably what 15 bottles
yeah,
off camera about.
yeah, and they're all something different. I have a lot of picks too. I actually go and try to find picks of Taconic. Can you tell us about your picks and how you go through those selections and how people take picks? Because they are tremendous and they're worth the drive to go find a pick.
Yeah, so the picks, I mean, if you're within driving distance, people will come, and during COVID, it was a whole different ballgame. We had individuals buying barrels. I mean, the whole thing was crazy.
Wow.
Golly.
But yeah. I mean, I can't even tell you some of these crazy stories that went on. But what they'll do is they'll come up. So the wacky thing is the maple bourbon is more of a barrel pick than the straight bourbon whiskey.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So we sell, in terms of single bottles, the Dutchess Private Reserve, the Forest Green label, we sell, that's our number one selling product, but the maple way outweigh the barrel picks. And I think down by you guys, because the maple thing is kind of unique. For us up here in New England, we got a lot of maple.
Hmm.
But if people are close by, they'll come up and we'll pull out, 5, 6. You don't want to do too many barrels because then it just gets unmanageable.
Yep.
And see what they like. And I always try to get people to do everything anonymous,
Mhm.
because if the 3 of us are there and I taste it and I'm like, this is terrible, if you guys like it, you're going to think, well, maybe there's something wrong with my palate.
Hmm.
And
Makes sense.
and vice versa. If I like it, maybe I should like it. So we try to do stuff anonymously. And then getting back to our very first, when we were in the beginning, one of the things I like about our barrel picks is it's very, very difficult for guys to settle on a barrel. It's never good when someone says, I like that one. I didn't like any of the other 6. So then in terms of that consistency and how we're trying to distill and ferment and all that stuff. And then if you're from far away, we will send you down, 6, 8 sample bottles, narrow it down, send you some more, go from there. And you pick the proof.
Now, say someone like us would live far enough away. Are we able to at least say, hey, we want to come to the distillery for the experience? Like that's
Of course.
obviously still an option. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That'd be
Yeah,
fun. Like,
we've had some people, mainly guys in, for whatever reason, it happened to be Tennessee, that would come up and know they were going to do a couple of distillery picks in New York and schedule 2 days with us. We'd take them out to Orvis, shoot some clays, have a dinner, do the whole
ooh,
dog and pony show. That's always the most fun.
That's
Whenever
awesome.
whenever we have local stores, I always tell the guys, do me a favor, bring your best whiskey accounts, your best whiskey guys, and get them to buy in,
mhm.
Mhm.
because you're going to be selling it to them anyway. If you can get them to buy in and they can say, I was part of this barrel pick, and tell their friends, you should have a quarter, if not half of the barrel sold before you get back in the car. We always try to get buy-in from not only the stores, but their good customers.
Yeah. I mean, buying a barrel is stressful.
It is.
It's stressful when you pick a barrel because either you're down here, the liquor store has to buy, the ABC store has to buy the barrel, and that's a tremendous amount of money
Mm,
for them to
Yeah.
invest in something, and you're just hoping, thankfully, when we do stuff it sells. Now our society is not a we're not a the Grand Strand Brewers Society is not a business. We don't have money to buy stuff. So
yes.
somebody has to buy it
Right.
for us.
Yeah.
We have to tell them, yeah, you're going to sell a ton of these things. They're going to be great. So that's why
Yeah.
we
So,
really don't do picks. And my dream is to do a Taconic pick. Like that is,
well,
that is the end goal.
the other thing we do, and every state has different laws, but for whatever
Yeah.
reason, we also do a lot of half and quarter barrel, and then the rest of the stuff, I just put it in our, in the blending pool with the rest of the stuff. But to your point, it is a huge capital commitment, and I kind of get the impression that when guys do barrel picks, they think it's going to sell in a week.
No,
And it's
that's not.
never that simple. I always say, listen, buy a quarter, buy a half. If it works, do another one.
Hmm.
Yeah.
But don't go out 12, 15 grand.
Yeah.
Because I mean, it's more and more difficult.
And it is pretty difficult, and I actually just experienced that firsthand. My another club that I helped create called 10 Glen Society, we did a pick with short barrel, and we have a Discord. We got people on board. People said they were going to buy 110 bottles worth, right? And I was like, that number's obviously going to go down by the time the pick lands. And sure as heck, it did. I think we sold like 90, so we only lost like 20 bottles worth of commitment, which is fine. But the store was like, they weren't mad about it, but they're like, all right, not as much as you thought, but like hopefully these sell pretty quick too. And luckily they've been flying off the shelves pretty much, but I mean we still have 40 bottles left, I think.
Yeah, that's exactly my point.
Yeah. But I mean, coming up there and shooting some clay, man, I better, if we'd ever do a barrel pick with them, whether
Kids,
it be through Grand Strand, the
I
Wright Pour,
I
or
bought
10
a
Glen.
shotgun just to go clay. We used to do it a lot down here, and they
Yeah, I
don't
was
do
gonna
it.
have to
They don't do
brush
as
up.
much. With the fire department, we used to do a lot of clay shooting. And I got a Mossberg 500 just to shoot clay.
Yep.
And
I have a
we
duck.
don't do it much anymore.
I
down
say I
here,
got my
but
duck shotgun, big 26-inch long barrel that I was like full heartedly going to go duck hunting with, and then I moved down here and never got a chance to do it. But it turned into my clay gun, so I might.
it's in January and it's cold. I hate
Yeah,
the
but I
cold,
got.
Paul.
I mean, I don't
can't
have.
do the cold anymore.
He
So
says that,
I
but like
can't see that.
I don't have as much acreage as you, but I got enough. I can bring my clay thrower out. We can go sling clay tomorrow morning.
Yeah, we
Well,
can.
no, I have
We
work. Maybe
probably need
Saturday
to.
morning.
Listen, your neighbor start some fires and stuff. We'll return some
Yeah,
fire.
exactly. We'll return the favor.
So you also do a single malt. I'll tell you, because I do enjoy a good single malt. I'm not a Scotch guy, but I do enjoy American single malt. I think I'm not a big peat fan, but I do
Yep.
like the chocolateness of the malt and some of the berry fruit flavors I get from the single malts. And your single malt is got chocolate for days, and it's a little earthy, a little herby, but chocolate, and I enjoy it. So tell us about your single malt. Is that something you're going to do continuously, or what is? Tell us about your
It,
single malt.
so the answer to your question is no. We did, I don't know how many, I think we did a bunch of barrels 5 or 6 years ago. Getting caught up in the whole single malt thing. I
Mhm.
mean, I like it. It tastes good. I can't drink scotch because we live in the United States, even though, the single malt. The problem with the single malt is
Mm.
it might be growing, but is a tiny, tiny, tiny,
Right.
tiny market. And and my goal, and yeah, you
I
got
can
to
see that.
remember that it was when I was bitching about the distributors early.
Yeah.
I am fighting for every inch of shelf space. So if I can get, and also I want to get shelf space, and I want those products to move. So my
Mhm.
goal, if I can get the Dutchess Private Reserve, the Maple, and the Founders as staples in people's stores, that's all I want. And then if I could upsell them to the Horse and Jockey and the Fox and Hare, but in terms of fighting for a single malt spot, I could care less. It's not a
Yeah,
big
I
enough
got you.
market.
No,
Yeah,
I
no,
got you.
that's
But
fair.
it's
Yeah.
just an enjoyable pour. Like I
No,
say,
no, no.
when you have this, it's
I
an
do
enjoyable
like
pour.
it. I do like it. And the
Um,
good thing is it's getting older every year because we know we don't sell that much of it, and we only bottle a little bit. But it's, I mean, that's my business point of view, not a
right,
tasting point of view. I do
right,
like it. It's got a lot of wacky stuff in there. The chocolate's cool, but I mean, I like bourbon more.
right. And tasting aside, like I said, it's interesting to listen to you talk because you are a businessman. You came from Wall Street, correct? So you know the market. So you probably, as far as the whiskey, like probably more people at distilleries need to talk to you. What is your view on the business right now? And like I said, you know what you exactly, because I'm not going to tell you, because I'd love to see the Horse and Jockey and the Fox and Hare would be the two bottles that I would buy in South Carolina every single day if it was on the shelf here. But that's maybe not something that you could do. But business wise, as far as the whiskey world and bourbon goes right now, what are your thoughts on the current market? And where do you think we're going?
So, I mean, like I said, we could fight any one of the 4 I mentioned one-on-one. It is kind of the perfect storm. I think you're gonna see a lot of people go out of business. I think last year, or maybe the last 2 years in New York, we've lost over 20 distilleries. Now, you could argue that maybe 18 of them never should have been in business. I mean, if you're playing in the aged spirit game, you need a lot of capital if you want to do, if you want to do soup to nuts. If I were going to get into business right now, and I wouldn't get into business right now, but if the model I would use now is MGP is basically giving away barrels. Their stock has gotten crushed. They have way too much inventory, and that's great booze.
Mm-hmm.
You can buy. I would basically come up with call it proof of concept. Come up with a label. Find someone, and you can outsource everything nowadays. Come up with a brand, come up with a label. For very little capital, you can see if you have proof of concept in your business. But to start a business and wait to age stuff and buy a couple $1 million of stainless steel and copper, I wouldn't do it.
I mean, that does make sense though. I mean, when you got to come up with that much money just to start and then let it age, that's just sitting. That's just money.
Yeah, I mean, you can. I mean, listen, bourbon, rye, any of this stuff we're talking about is a commodity. It's not a very liquid market, no pun intended. I mean, you can't pop open the Wall Street Journal and get bid ask, but everything trades. You can buy whatever you want. And we also contract for people. And we tell guys, I will give you new fill to 7 years. Here's the price of what you want to do. But in terms of that's what I would do versus spending all the capital.
Is there anybody that you could name, or do you have NDAs with these people? Who you're contracting for?
I don't want to mention it on there.
Okay.
A lot of the guys that I don't want to say I only do for guys that I like, but all the guys we contract for, I like. And a lot of them, we are equity owners of their business as well.
Yeah, good.
So not only do I, exactly, because not only do I want them to buy my product, I want them to be so successful that I got to add more shifts.
Yeah, that's definitely not a bad,
right.
My favorite saying, definitely not a bad problem to have to do that. No, then that's a great business model. I feel like I don't hear a lot of people say that they're, investing in those people or owning equity in it as well. They're just like, here, buy the barrel, have fun,
Yeah.
But that's definitely a different way to look at it that I don't think I've heard of.
Well, I think MGP they actually bought Penelope back.
They did
because
bought it back. Oh, I don't know.
Well, I think they own the brand now. I think Penelope
Luxro.
Huh?
Luxro.
Yeah, same thing. It's same thing, Chris.
Oh, is it?
MGP basically gave guys, I don't know if it was $100 or $200 million to sell their own booze.
Yep.
Another brilliant sale.
So Luxro is owned by MGP basically?
Yes.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah.
See, we learned something new, y'all.
Yeah.
If you didn't know, now you do.
Yeah. Again, Paul is a smart business guy. Coming from the Wall Street, you're probably one of the most important person in bourbon. So we need to keep you in business because again, Paul knows what's going on. He's very intelligent person when it comes to that.
Yep. I don't want to take too much of your time, so we're gonna go through the last bottle that Charlie's been the most excited for.
So this is that 137 Fox and Hare rye that you sold at distillery for your 10th anniversary. And I had to call the wife to make sure I was able to buy this.
Always got to check with wifey.
I'm telling you, it is money well spent. It is the 137 proof. And what was the age in this? You said this was the oldest barrel you had opened at the time?
That was my guess. What was that, 2 years ago?
It was for the your anniversary, for your 10-year anniversary.
So that was last May, right? Was it last May?
Yes.
Yeah.
2024.
Yep.
My guess is it was a 6-year-old barrel, maybe 7. But for us to get hazmat or close to hazmat on a 53-gallon barrel that's not super old, the story with that one is so an empty barrel is 115 pounds. A full barrel's, call it 515. So we weigh everything when we're about to dump it to kind of figure out what the angel share is. So we threw that barrel on the thing and it probably weighed, like 175 pounds. So obviously it was a leaker.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
For whatever reason, the leakers that are high up, you get the high proof. Now we're getting those higher proofs on, but the mash bills are. I mean, the bourbon's getting a little bit older, but I think we got. I don't know if it was 40 bottles out of it. And so when I knew it was going to be a leak or high proof, I told the guys, I said, do not dump this in the bottling pool, in the blending pool. I said, we are going to bottle this as is. And again, I don't know this. I'm not a scientist. I don't know the science of the leaking and the wood and the aging. But another thing, does not drink like 137 proof.
Can't confirm.
It does not. And like I tell, so you see the color on this. This is just dark cola colored, and it is the taste on this. And I tell you what, I blinded this. Did a good blind with Barrel Seagrass 16 year was 133. Jack Daniel's single barrel proof at 136 was Barrel House 203. Parker's, it was 2023 Heritage Rye. I had a sample of that. That's at 128 proof. And this won unanimously. And I will tell you something. Taconic has a very oily, if you can tell, it's very viscous. It's got a good mouthfeel. It's oily. It stays on the palate. After drinking this one, all of the other ryes tasted horrible.
that shows that your product is pretty dang good.
No, it did. I mean, even I love Jack Daniel's single barrel proof rye.
You are a fan, yeah.
And it was so bitter after drinking this. The other three,
because that oil just stuck.
It just stuck with it, and I just had to finish this. So this I want to say is your Mona Lisa, is your masterpiece.
Yeah.
If Taconic and you could figure this out to do this every single time, I'm telling you, people out there, if you're not checking out Taconic, if you're not buying their products, you need to. Again, I could tell you how many times they beat out legacy distilleries in blinds and things that I've done just in front of people with you. And it's just a great product, Paul. And I'm just so happy to talk about it. What is the future of Taconic? Is there anything new we're going to be looking for at Taconic? Anything you're thinking about, or anything new we could see coming down the pipe?
We just came out with these. The Manhattan is right behind it. And I don't know if I mentioned it earlier, if it was on tape or not, but anything that any bourbon that we dump that is above 133 proof goes on the Distiller Select, and you get we have a little barrel sticker that fell off. So I would say that we're definitely I'm going to keep my feet in the pre-made cocktails, because I think that's a market we need to be in, especially in the 375 size. Mm-hmm. And we're going to continue to push, being again, the craft word, high proof in craft is a differentiator. Yep. So we will continue to push those high proof offerings. But the one thing I need to have you try next time you come up, what we always do in the winter that is fun is, how you've got the angel share, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when I said an empty barrel is 115 pounds. When we dump it, the barrel weighs about like 140 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
So the water, it has been very, very cold up here. So I will bring a barrel in. I will crank the heat up 70 degrees. We'll dump the barrel in a day or two. I will then throw that barrel outside overnight for 2 nights when it's 10 degrees. And I will get maybe 3 or 4 bottles of Devil's Cut.
Oh wow.
Out of that thing. And we try to filter it through coffee filters, this and that. You can never get rid of the little fine pieces, but that is also crazy good.
Oh, I can imagine.
I always said I was not going back up there in the cold in New York. Now I may have to. I may have
plan
to.
a weekend in January.
I may have to chance.
Yeah, I gotta get you. It's. I mean, there's obviously no label for it. It's just fun to play around with.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
It is crazy.
Wow.
That when that wood contracts with the cold, that you get some more stuff out of it.
Right. I feel like a lot of people don't really experiment with that, and that may be like I want to say missed market, but like a missed experiment, like you were saying. Like that's pretty cool just to hear. Like, I want to go up there now.
and I tell you, it's a great experience. And even if you're flying in there and you go to New York, the train takes you up there. If you don't have a car or something like that, you're staying in the city, and I'm sure you could Uber or get maybe you guys can have a party bus or something, pick people up from the train stations and bring them there for tours during their weekends or something. But it's easy to get to.
Charlie, you can land a helicopter on the property.
If you happen to have a helicopter,
I wish
we
I
can
had
land
the
a
money for
helicopter
that.
on the property.
I know my family worked for Sikorsky, but they ain't that high up in Sikorsky. Golly.
But now, where can people get Taconic? Now, again,
So I would
some
say,
stores
I mean,
here, but where can we get
I definitely
Taconic?
want to talk to you guys offline about, getting our distribution dialed in down there. But what I will tell you is every single one of our SKUs is you can order online from our website. It will be FedEx ground to wherever you live. That is the easiest way. Every SKU, no inventory issues.
Oh, that's awesome.
Right. And I recently just discovered the Masters Distiller Select, I'm sorry, was on and I showed it to my wife. So maybe I might get it for Christmas.
Maybe.
I don't know. I showed it to her. So
no, but that's awesome that we're able to at least get it anywhere across the country, straight from your website. That's
right. Because
fantastic.
New York is one of the states that are allowed to ship, correct?
We have a third party in New York fulfill it. I don't know. I assume that they have deals with states where there are issues, but I don't ask any questions.
Hi.
I like it. Yep, that makes sense.
Very good. So go to Taconic, go to Taconic's website. Again, they have a lot of cool stuff on it. Do you have any other merchandise on there? My dogs love the dog treats. They did love do you have those on the website too?
Well, they're on the website. So the booze and all the other stuff are separate. We used to have the dog treats on the counter by the bar, as Charlie knows. We took those down because too many people would eat them. Not dogs, people.
Well, I tell you, my dogs love them, so maybe they might be pretty good.
Yeah, right.
They're like peanut butter snaps. But we have the dogs. We got the shirt that Charlie's wearing.
Everybody see the shirt here? It's bourbon, steak, guns, and freedom, and everybody's got to pull me aside.
Yeah.
when they see the shirt,
which is a great shirt.
It's a great shirt. Thanks, Paul actually did send it to me when I ordered something.
Yeah.
So it was cool. I got this little Taconic hat. So
I got to order me one of those shirts because that's everything that embodies me as well. I was out there popping rounds out last night, and Emma's like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "Being annoying."
Yeah. That's the shirt you need.
Yeah, right.
Absolutely. Well, is there anything else, Chris, you got?
No, I think this has been good. You answered all of our questions half the time before I even got a chance to ask them. So I do appreciate your time coming on today. This was awesome to talk to you, get to know you a little bit more. I hope a lot more people get to experience Taconic because you all have such a wide range of varieties. The single barrels that we can see. I mean, I see 3 of the Duchess right here in view off camera. There's just so much to choose from that is so good that there's something for everyone, between the rum, the maple syrup alone. If you're not a drinker, you want some good quality maple syrup. Yeah, they got that too.
Bruce will love the maple syrup.
I mean, rightfully so.
Love the maple syrup.
Rightfully so. That shit was good.
Forbes just said he is the most influential person in whiskey right now, and he enjoyed the Taconic. But anyway, he loved the maple syrup.
Yeah.
But anyway, again, Taconic, I don't have to say any more justifying. Taconic is a great product. Again, if I had to choose one, and I hate because I have a lot of friends that own distilleries.
Yep,
it is.
You do.
But I can't deny that there is, from the 90 proof to the picks to the rise, it's the one distillery that if I had to choose a distillery now for the rest of my life, it would be Taconic. And I'm telling people this because it's true. It's just try it out for yourself. It may not be your cup of tea, but it's right down my palate. And I'm glad to be able to share it with everybody. Thank you.
And if you're trying Taconic and there's not one bottle, if you try the first bottle you don't like it, there's so many more to try that you're bound to find something you'll like.
And give me the bottle you don't like. I'll be glad to take it.
Send it our way. We'll drink it.
Paul, do you have anything else? No,
I wanted to thank you guys for inviting me on. It's always a lot of fun, and I look forward to doing it again.
Yeah, we appreciate you coming on. We appreciate your time tonight. It was a ton of fun talking to you and get to know you a little bit more. So I hope a lot more people see this and be able to order some more Taconic online now that we know that we can get it shipped to dang near all 50 states, or at least the lower 48.
Yeah.
So,
all right. Thank you. Thank you,
Chris,
for allowing me on here.
Yep. Thanks for coming
Paul,
by, Charlie.
Thank you. All right.
All right. Till next time. Cheers, y'all.
All right, bye-bye.